If you're operating with ethics and integrity within capitalism, then I don't think that the capitalism itself is the issue. You know, it's that it allows people who totally suck to thrive within that system. That's the problem. A lot of people think that my background would have been that I was influenced by graffiti, but I didn't really even get exposed to graffiti until around the same time that I first started making the Andre the Giant Has a Posse stickers. Graffiti was one of the things that made me want to go bigger, but skateboarding and punk rock, with the, hey, we're marginalized, but we're creating our own scene and we're going to make it happen on our own terms, that was what motivated me to get started with the stickers and the stencils and making my own t-shirts and going out there and hitting the streets. And punk rock, I think, is where I'm coming from politically, simply because it's about the idea of immediacy, like you're saying, that just because you can't play a guitar solo like Satriani doesn't mean that you can't make music that affects people. And the biggest one was the Sex Pistols. For some reason, the Sex Pistols just made a huge impact on me. But you know, after that, of course, I started acquiring everything I could. So Black Flag, the Circle Jerks, the Dead Kennedys, all the Southern California hardcore bands were a big part of my introduction to skateboard culture. And the song Rise Above from Black Flag's Damaged, first track, and you know, it's just got a very you know, chantable chorus or whatever, and the lyrics are great. You know, jealous cowards try to control, rise above, we're gonna rise above. They distort what we say, try to stop what we do because they can't do it themselves. It's like, you know, just this idea of, you know, people that aren't conformists trying to be oppressed by people who are, and people, you know, people that don't like anyone that doesn't want to live a structured life. It's a cliche, but just the do-it-yourself attitude of I'm gonna be empowered. I'm not gonna, just because I don't have a major label backing me or the skills of a virtuoso musician, I'm gonna make stuff happen. And anyway, and I always liked that about punk, and just sort of took those ideas and transferred it to art. I love that the internet in a lot of ways levels the playing field. It's a very punk medium. You know, it's almost everybody's got access to a computer now, and whether it's just a way to distribute information, or you're using the computer to make designs, or people using Pro Tools to make music. You know, people that would have never been able to afford a 4-track studio or whatever, doing stuff in GarageBand or Pro Tools, and then getting, you know, record deals out of it. I mean, that's awesome. One of the cool things is that as my design business and my art and clothing and everything I'm involved in, the magazine that I do, Swindle, as each of those things grows, I'm able to provide jobs for people doing something really cool and creative. And it's amazing, the sort of, you know, Obey Giant, Studio #1, Swindle ecosystem that exists now. It's like, it's awesome, you know. People, I think there's probably about 40 people in total that, you know, are making a living off of various entities I'm involved in. And, you know, I got to where I am partially because of the same type of people, like Andy Howell, who was a pro skateboarder, an entrepreneur that started New Deal Skateboards and Sophisto Clothing. He gave me a job, and before that it was a clothing company that had allowed me to do graphics for them. All these things that were out there that, you know, were a way to apply my creative talents to something that had a commercial facet. You know, would I like to be able to do what I do without having to occasionally do a job for Toyota or Coca-Cola or somebody, yeah, I would. I don't necessarily want to help those companies, but there's a zillion people lined up to help them that if I don't, they will. I'm not really affecting whether that company, Coke's not going out of business if I refuse to do their ad, but I might. You know what I mean? Like, there's it's like you just do the best you can. And the funny thing is, when people are talking about how, art used to just be for art's sake, I go, what are you talking about? Like the Sistine Chapel, that was funded by the biggest corporation in existence at the time. Whether it was the king that was the patron or the Catholic Church or whatever, it's like, there's always been these potentially sinister tentacles of influence. And, as an artist, you have to be able to, navigate shark-infested waters, I guess. And, I just do the best I can with it. I don't know. There's always going to be illegal graffiti, and I think that's cool. But I told those guys, I was like, look, I'm for illegal graffiti. I think that it's something that's going to happen that you can't really stop. But I'm glad that it gets cleaned. I don't like it when my stuff gets cleaned in a day, but if it didn't get cleaned, it would be total chaos, and part of being a successful graffiti artist or street artist is that you have the motivation to perpetually go out and find new spots and try to find places that are not in use, that won't get cleaned quickly, and no matter how much your stuff is getting cleaned, you're always finding new places. So constantly you have something running somewhere, and anybody can go out and wreck the city for a weekend, but then it's whether they actually follow through and keep it going long enough for what they're doing to actually sink in and have people start to make the connection from one piece to the next to the next. That's just part of it, is that you get used to the idea that in order to reach the largest audience possible, you're sacrificing the work. It's it's temporary, and that's that.
Jealous, coward, trying to control. Rise above, we're gonna rise above.